Deirdre McIntosh, Ilana Mercado, and Miles Clotilde Bunguia. Okay, Irving Georgette Morgan Thomas, Signe Mortensen, Juanito Savalle, Solomon Prophet is there, Carolina Ramirez, Tricia Ramos, Annette Robinson,
She's running late, she'll be here.
Amir Sadehi,
Here.
Blake Stanford, Carolyn Thompson, Hugo Torres, Edmund Torres, leave, Liz Whitetakis, Francina Waring, Barry Weinberg is here, Shanika Wilson,
She's on here.
okay, and Elisa Yu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, we may be one short of quorum.
Wow.
Yes. Yep, all right, we are still one short of quorum, but yeah, we need one more person. It's only in-person folks count.
Yes, look at that. Should be working.
Thank you.
And
So, good evening, all. Call the meeting to attention, seeing we don't have quorum at the moment. And we'll move forward with. Are they here?
Gregory, but that, do you see him on the screen? You may not have. Yeah. Do we have anyone in the audience from RCT? Gregory Baguette is here.
Are we-
Gregory Baguette. He's here? Yeah.
and
He's right
here's
here.
one from Norris, if you want to call us in.
Oh, okay. Okay, we have one additional person, so we can call the meeting to order at 6:45. Motion to adopt the agenda would be in order.
So, second.
All right.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none. Minutes? No minutes?
We don't have any.
Okay.
Have any-
No minutes in the package. Alrighty. So welcome to all guests and definitely welcome to our board members. I just want to thank people for their volunteering. Sometimes people take it for granted. I do not. Volunteering your time and your efforts to be here and serve the community. And for those who worked on the budget this past week and your committees, thank you for that. That's such an important part of what we do. So thank you. Presentation tonight on support for right to counsel. That will be given by Gregory Baguette. Gregory, you're on the screen, I take it, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're on.
Okay, let me just share my screen.
Let me give you. Yeah, hold on, I think you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay. Don't look like anything happened.
Good.
He's trying to share his screen. No, it's the cell phone. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, let me just try to get rid of the.
Any way to raise your volume? Let's speak loud.
We might have to speak louder, please.
Okay, so if you're ready, thank you very much for having me come and give you guys a critical update on the right to counsel.
You hear in the back?
Excuse me, sir?
Can you speak up a bit? We have a large crowd. It's a little hard to hear you. You can
Okay, let me,
volume.
okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just project better, sorry. So thanks a lot for giving us the opportunity to come and give a critical update on the Right to Counsel bill. In many ways, this presentation is a presentation to the choir in the sense that this community board, in my opinion, was the heart and soul of Right to Counsel in our borough. As you know, back in 2017, then Councilman Mark Levine sponsored a bill for Right to Counsel that passed in 2017. And we basically had 3 glorious golden years of Right to Counsel. For those that don't know, the district office of Community Board 9 was actually the intake center for Right to Counsel, where Manhattan Legal Services and Community Board 9 had developed a partnership that was, that those of us over in Community Board 10, where I live, we were also able to bring refer people who lived in zip code 2027. So the Right to Counsel coalition is the usual suspects that we all know who are part of the tenant and housing movement in New York City. But I want to highlight a new group that has become a part of the Right to Counsel movement, and that's the small landlord and small property owners who are becoming a growing number of people who are joining the Right to Counsel coalition, if for no other reason, but the bill that we are proposing to the state legislature will provide legal representation to small landlords facing foreclosure. And we plan to do a deeper dive in the research to see if we can also include in the budget research for people facing deed theft, which is a pretty big situation that's happening in many districts throughout the city. So where we are with Right to Counsel now is that since the local law was passed, we're in a position now where we need to actually defend the local law that was created. And we're in a difficult position because the local law has no enforcement power over the behavior of the courts. I remember I was doing a public hearing during the ERAP public hearings, and I had an opportunity to meet with the Bronx administrative judge during a moment where we had some lunch. And she looked at me and said, you know, at the end of the day, we need you guys to get laws passed so that we can do what we have to do. And it took me a minute to fully understand what she was saying, but without these laws, the judges will be forced to do what they have to do. And so the need for statewide legislation is important for a number of reasons. One of the reasons could be the budget, in the sense that additional state funding would create more funding to meet the capacity demand that is currently overwhelming the nonprofit groups that are providing legal services. But more importantly, state law is the only way to enforce the behavior of the courts. The courts are not obligated to honor the local law, and we're seeing that the courts are not. Something as basic as the tenant's right to have a right to counsel intake in the courthouse is being denied, not directly, but through a basic regulation in the courts that says the tenant must exercise the intake during their first appearance in court. And so if a tenant is unaware that they have a right to counsel, and if there are no mechanisms in the court system to notify people that they have this right, most tenants miss that intake opportunity to meet with an attorney before facing a court. And I can tell you by experience, I'm in court every Wednesday helping people avoid evictions. And the minute you start a case pro se, you've lost access to a great deal of rights in that first appearance. And so one of the bills that we are supporting is a bill to provide state language to enforce the adjournments portion of the local law, so that the courts have the legislation it needs in order to give the respondents in housing court the necessary adjournments that they need until they secure competent legal representation.
We're not seeing on the screen, we're not seeing your presentation. We're hearing you, but not seeing the presentation.
Oh, you're not?
No,
You're not seeing anything?
no,
Says loading.
that's
Oh,
loading.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I wasn't reading the presentation. That's a pity because I don't read from the presentation. I'm not sure.
We have it in our packet, so we can follow along that way.
Oh, I see it now.
There we go, just came up.
Okay, so it seems like there's a difficulty when I'm trying to do it as a slide. So maybe I'll just keep it like this.
Yeah,
So I generally don't read a lot of information from the presentation stack since it's already there. But let me try to give some of the background as to where this problem started. So like I said early on, there was this sort of golden years where everything was working great. As you know, people were coming to various offices for intake. 10027 was one of the areas where people could come to secure right to counsel. At the same time, we had pre-COVID emergency rent assistance that was in the work as well, assisting people. And then COVID hit. And of course, eventually the court shut down. And then during COVID, we actually passed, expanded right to counsel to include all zip codes. And so that expansion of the law happened during COVID. And so there was no experience of what would be the demand on the right to counsel movement because the courts were closed and there was all of the moratoriums that we all are familiar with. And so it wasn't until the emergency rent assistance provisions began to expire that the number of eviction cases began to rise, and the nonprofit providers found that they just didn't have the capacity to meet the demand. And the capacity was greatly lessened by the fact that many of the nonprofit lawyers who were working before the COVID emergency had actually left their jobs to pursue other work because of budget cut downs and the fact that there was no activity going on in the courts. And so now we're at a place where we simply don't have the demand to meet we don't have the capacity to meet the demand. And so we need legislation to help tenants with adjournments. And let me just say, we're not proposing that every tenant coming to housing court deserves an adjournment. What we are asserting is that for those tenants who are eligible and qualify for right to counsel, and quite frankly, that number is rather low because the income restriction is kind of low. Lots of middle-class people need these protections as well, and the local law does not extend them an opportunity to even pursue those protections. But under the current local law, we don't have enough lawyers to meet the demand. So I'm gonna, in the presentation there and maybe take some questions. I do want to give you a little bit of an update. Right now, this list is the number of community boards who have either supported right to counsel with either a letter of support or actually a support for our resolution. And this morning, the borough board actually passed the resolution to support right to counsel. So it would be great to have a resolution or letter of support from Community Board 9 as well. So I'm more than happy to take some questions. And again, I want to thank you for your advocacy around right to counsel under the leadership of now Borough President Mark Levine.
Greg, it's Yutha, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Good. Can you click the link so that we can look at the resolution of support for either CB8 or CB10?
Let me see. Give me a minute. Maybe I can find, let me just find the actual template in my document.
It was in our.
I guess I could, no, I can't click the link for some reason. Oh, here it is. Let me see.
Okay, we have it. Madison, can
You
you
have
go
it?
with?
Okay. Here we go. So that's what I have. And that one's from
CB8?
very few of the community boards modified the resolution, but you're welcome to do that. The letter of support is more personalized and has other issues that the various boards who chose to do a letter of support has. So if you're looking at this, this looks like most of the resolutions that were passed.
Any questions? Yes, Carlton Davis.
Yes, new city council, should they be involved on these kind of regular council? That they don't educate and policy?
Yes. The borough board this morning, all the chairs of Manhattan community boards voted on this and passed it this morning unanimously. Mike.
I would just like to comment, I hope for unanimous consent on this issue. When you get convicted of something criminally, you get an attorney appointed, right? That's known as a public defender. But in a civil suit, you do not have such a guarantee. So I highly endorse that everybody think about not only just themselves, but the position that they could be in the future. The vast majority of New Yorkers are renters. We would vastly benefit from this at any point in any of our lives. Things could change where you're no longer able to afford rent. And maybe you don't have notice. And for the very fact that, as Gregory had mentioned, you waive those rights the second you step into court and represent yourself pro se. So I highly advocate for everyone to endorse this resolution. It's a right not just for people who are in poverty, but it's a right of all.
Second. Did you?
So I just would like to respond. Can you come with me to, to some of the other boroughs? But one of the things that the speaker has touched upon so eloquently is the need for right to counsel to be a universal right. And by that, I'm not necessarily asserting that Ivanka Trump should have access to right to counsel, but I'm making an ideological argument that the idea that you have a right to counsel to something that we all now accept as a human right should be extended to all people. All people should have the opportunity to pursue eligibility for right to counsel rather than having the eligibility determined by arbitrary income limits. Like I said earlier, right now, there's so many middle-class New Yorkers who are either stigmatized, feel that these types of laws are stigmatized or don't even know that they may very well be eligible for these protections as well.
Okay, good. We have another question for you, Larry?
My question is about the relationship between the state and the city here. Because the bill establishes a statewide office of civil representation or rights that would be responsible for funding this. So is the state going to take over provision of the right to counsel services from the city or take on that burden of funding it?
No, the Office of Civil Justice will continue and will continue to administer the local budget for right to counsel. And then there will be a new state office that will control the state budget, which will assist not just renters in New York, but renters all over the state. What I don't want to do is attempt to assert that the administration of a bill in any way represents what is proposed. As we all know, when we saw with ERAP and every other bill that I've ever seen, the administration of that bill is an entirely different process that needs to be then negotiated and advocated for with the same zealous activity as we do to get these bills enacted.
Thank you.
Heather, Chris, Larry.
Please expand upon the definition of a small property owner, what would be the definition, and whether or not a small property owner would also have right to counsel during the
Yeah. Well, let me say, the definition of a small property owner is a contested area, right? I mean, if we follow the rent stabilization law, it would be any building with 6 or less units, right? However, in districts like Community Board 10 and Community Board 9, we have a good number of small property owners who have purchased, let's say, brownstones that are registered as SROs that may have as many as 10 units, but the current owners are using the properties as a single family home. And so I think even with the advocacy around good cause eviction, that is where a lot of the opposition rests, in the fact that we have too many small property owners who are not legally identified as small property owners, who are generally harmed by legislation that's designed to regulate corporate owners. So the definition of a small property owner is a contested field at this time.
Barry, you had a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I would really like clarification around the term right to counsel. Because it seems to me that it really is not a right or an entitlement for someone who finds themselves in housing court. I know too many people this year who are in housing court and simply, well, they're low income people, so qualifying by income is no problem for them, but they have not been able to obtain legal representation in housing court, and that's exactly what they want. So, you know, I think one person told me that they went to housing court in Manhattan, and they were offered a 20 to 25-minute consultation with some attorneys from one of the nonprofit providers there in the courthouse. So please, with so many people who want the legal representation but are unable to obtain it, how is it in fact a right? And if it's so difficult to find here in New York City, I mean, how can we really trust that it will become a right, quote unquote, all around the state if it's difficult to find here in the city of New York? Could you please comment?
Yeah, absolutely, ma'am. And, you know, just listening to you breaks my heart because I'm actually with these people every Wednesday. And basically, I'm there trying to give them a runaround because they don't have legal representation. The only explanation I can give you, ma'am, is that the legal service providers are overwhelmed. And to some extent, what we are learning is that the best way for us to get representation for one person is to simply try and organize a bigger case against a landlord that may have multiple violations or something happening in one building, which then makes the case more appealing to the legal service provider. As a symptom of this problem, what we do provide is legal information. Both there are those of us doing court watch in the hallways of the court. And like I said, in the courthouse, there is one of the legal services offices where people can basically get an instruction, not legal advice, but an instruction on how to avoid eviction until you can actually get the representation you need. So how does something become a right? I think it becomes a right once it becomes a budget priority. And that's something that has not happened, certainly not at the city level yet. And that's one of the reasons why the statewide right to counsel movement started, because we didn't get the funding we needed at the city level to fully fund right to counsel. And so we're hoping the additional funding and the additional administration from a new state office will achieve this right you're pointing to that's not being presently fulfilled.
Okay, thank you for that information. Quite informative. Having been in housing court myself many times, I hear exactly what you're saying as far as right to counsel. And we'll take this up later as an action item, but thank you for your time and your information. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for your questions. And thank you for being one of the few community boards that understand that you guys do have the power to advocate and not just disseminate information. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All righty, moving on. Next item on the agenda are reports. I'll start with my chair report. Should be in your packet. I'm going to go briefly through some of the items. The first item was attendance, community board attendance. As you know, at this time, in order to conduct business and vote, we have to have an in-person quorum. I think today we just made it by 3 people. Last time we made it by 1. So your presence is truly important to be here to vote, unless it changes and we go back to the pandemic ways, but we're not in that stage right now. So we have to have people in person to conduct business. It'd be a shame for all of us to come with these important items and we can't conduct business. So those who are not here, I just remind people of the bylaws as far as your attendance. You can be excused for certain things. You need to contact myself or our first vice chair, Monique, ahead of time to get the link in case something comes up that's extraordinary, right? Budget. Sure.
So I'm the second vice chair, and if you're going to join us virtually, we ask that if possible, you have your camera on as well. So I just want to make sure I stress that.
Actually, it's not if possible, it's mandatory that you have your camera on if you're virtual, if you want to be in attendance. Well, thank you for the reminder.
That's a rule.
That's a rule for the borough president. Yeah. Yes, that is. Moving on, district needs. Yeah, little makeup. Fine with no makeup. You're all right, don't worry. Anyway, budget needs, budgets and district needs. I know we've started that process. Barry, thanks so much for the spreadsheet that you sent out. I think it was very helpful. And like I said, I sat in on some last month and some this month, and I see we're making progress on that, but it's truly important that we let people know what we need in the district so we can get the funding. Squeaky wheel gets oiled, that still applies everywhere. So if we don't talk about it, it doesn't exist. So these things are truly important to make sure we get them done and done properly. And the narrative should reflect, what the needs are. Cannabis. That was a big topic this morning with the board chairs from Manhattan, cannabis dispensaries, and people trying to get legal storefronts for these places. I would say it's still a little convoluted myself. We made it legal, and now you want to do laws and establish places of business. I just thought it should have gone the other way. That being said, this is what it is, and Cannabis Task Force is working hard with Uniform Transportation Services to review. How many applications do we have at this point? 20 applications for cannabis dispensaries in the area. We want to be very careful where these things are located. Schools, houses of worship, treatment centers, supportive housing, those type of things we want to take a close look at. Now, Board 1, Community Board 1, which is in Lower Manhattan by World Trade Center area, has 45 applications. And it's saying that a lot of them are duplicates. People are applying for the same storefronts. So we have to go through them very carefully, go out and take a look, see where they are, so we can make sure that make an informed decision. We'll be working with our task force to make sure this goes across smoothly. As far as illegal dispensaries, we spoke about that as well. They're working on it. That's what I heard going one year and not the other. They're working on it. So myself and Hakil sat in on a meeting today about that. We got some good information and we're going to work on that as well. But there's a lot of loopholes in that people are kind of circumnavigating. I'll be meeting this next week with our city council member, Sean Abreu, and also with the first deputy mayor, Sheena Wright. And these are one of the items I'm going to bring up as well, because as I see people in the street, they ask these questions and other board members have asked. 1727 Amsterdam, I know that's been on our radar for a while. I call it what used to be a one-stop health care center, dental, eye, mental health, and just general health. As many of you know, there was that's going to be torn down. There's a demolition coming up. We just hope what comes back is something that can serve the community as that has. I know that the Bowen Center will be coming back. I'm hoping that it will be the same square footage. Heritage Health will be further down the street in their own building. And then, from my understanding, they'll have the dental clinic there as well. But what's coming there is supportive housing and quote unquote affordable housing. Now, I keep seeing this word affordable housing in our neighborhood, and then when I look it up, I can't afford it myself. And many people who live in the area can't. So we're hoping for low income housing. That's the word I'm looking at. That's affordable. 153rd between Broadway and Riverside. I saw something that said affordable. Studio's $3,500 a month, and you have to have a salary between 80 and 110. I know Walter has got 110, but I don't. So, he could probably move, but can't do that. So we'll be pushing that. Low income housing, people who live in this area, I mean, they can afford that. People who work, civil service workers that work in the areas, teachers, they can't afford it. So what happens if people move out? I just don't think it's right. All right. So I'll be discussing that as well. The sanitation is here. They're going to speak a little bit later about the rat containerization program. As I walk through a lot of the blocks, I try to speak to people I've heard positive, and I've heard some problems with it as well, but it is a pilot and we need feedback. So I've asked them to come periodically to hear from the people, which is us and other people in the community. And maybe at some point we'll do a town hall so we can get more people here to speak about what's going on and, you know, fine tune it as we move forward. So I look forward to working with you on that. Residential parking. This is a reso that probably be coming up soon out of one of our committees. And it's also in response to not only the containerization we were losing parking, but also to congestion pricing that's going to be coming this way. And we already see people come from Jersey, Connecticut, park uptown, get on the train and head downtown. Not fair to the people who live here. I mean, my cousin lives in Weehawken. I go there, I can only stay till 10 because they have residential parking. So here it's going to affect more in the daytime, people avoiding going downtown and being charged. So we need to do something about it. Some other boards have already started talking about that. And I think I want to be right along with that if you agree with that as well. And that's my report for this month. Any questions on anything I've said? Okay, going to Treasurer's report.
So thank you, Chair. So good evening, all. I want to echo the sentiments that have already been said. Thanking everyone for coming out, the co-chairs, chairs, and those individuals that were via live stream that participated in our budget, our public hearing on budget prioritization for our capital and expenses for FY25. And just a quick note, I sent out information earlier to the co-chairs, chairs and co-chairs to have their narratives back to Ms. Yutha and team by the 24th so that we can meet our deadline. The treasurer's report is in your packet. You can see that we spend expenses this month basically the same on storage, office equipment, maintenance, and cleaning services. And that's my chair's report.
Thank you. Did your question?
Pardon me, I just had to process some things that you said.
Okay.
Is it possible for us to look for ways of having vertical parking? Is that what it's called?
Oh, angle parking?
Angle
where it gives you
parking,
more
yeah.
space? I guess depending on the block, possibly, yes. If you have suggestions on what particular blocks, I know we tried it. Actually, Ted tried it for a while on 120th, and we didn't. I think the pushback on that was from handicap accessible. So when you park close, you can't always open the car door to get a wheelchair to get in. So they'd have to maybe use more space. I mean, it's something we can look at. But they do, it does give you 2 for 1 space wise. Yeah, so something we could take a look at. They have it in other places in the city.
They have it on 120th West Event.
Right.
Or East Event.
Oh, okay.
Does that conclude the judge's report?
Yes, that's,
Special thank you.
yeah. District manager.
Good evening, all. Amir has a question.
Mayor, you have a question?
Oh, yes. Well, I just noticed that someone had the opportunity to discuss the brief reference to residential parking permits, which I'm on the Health and Environment Committee, so I didn't know if I had also an opportunity to express my perspective as well, Chair.
Yes, you do.
Thank you for the opportunity, Chair. And thank you for Laquita, who, one of the chairs of the Health Environment Committee. We've been having, I think, a very robust conversation about residential parking permit policy. And, I think unfortunately, it's a little bit concerning to me as a member of that committee that according to census data, less than 21% of residents of our district have access to an automobile. And I'm just pretty concerned because according to the Regional Plan Association, New York City has rejected residential parking permits historically for good reason. And according to a 2019 report published by the then borough president, Gail Brewer, many cities that did have a residential parking permit policy ended up scratching their heads and regretting it in the future. So I think, I'm looking forward to more robust conversation. We have invited researchers and experts from Open Plans and from Transportation Alternatives to present to the Health Environment Committee to make sure that we're really supporting and advocating for evidence-driven proposals that will reduce car use, will produce better health outcomes, and improve the air quality in our district, and really benefit members of our community. So I'm looking forward to more robust conversation about this. And Chair, thank you for touching on this during your chair's report.
Great, thank you for the comment. Thank you very much.
Yes, good evening again. It's in addition to my report, I have two announcements. One is it's that time of the year again. Holiday lights will be taking place on Tuesday, November 14th. The floats will be lined up on the corridor of 125th Street between Broadway and Amsterdam at 4:30 p.m. If interested in joining the district office on CB9's float, please let me know as soon as possible. Space is limited. We had a ball last year. Yes, Ms. Dunn, I know. We had a ball last year. The TA president of Grant Houses joined us with some of our officers, and we had the DJ. It was a good time had by all. So if you're interested, let me know as soon as possible. At the district office, you can call me at 212-864-6200. Also, CB9 has free COVID-19 tests. Kits and masks are available at the district office, and we also have some on the table here. Not that many, but you can pick up in numbers at the district office. 3291 Broadway between 132nd and 133rd Street. And that will be Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. only. And that concludes my report. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, West Harlem Development report from Pat Watler Johnson.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity. My report is in the packet, but I just want to briefly summarize some things. The community benefit grants are going to be announced on the website. My understanding is that everybody has to be notified before the information can be posted. So once that happens, everything will be good. The seniors, older adults initiatives group, the coalition group was able to benefit from tickets to the Broadway play Aladdin. And it was 300 tickets that were made available by WHDC to various West Harlem senior groups, et cetera. And I understand that everything was great and everyone had a wonderful time. WHDC co-sponsored with WEAC the Team Up to Clean Up event on Sunday. I wrote here Saturday, but I think it was Sunday. The actual date was Sunday in which it took place. The Uptown Night Market ended. It was a wonderful season and we look forward to next year and see what the year will bring. WHDC also co-sponsored the Harlem Swing Dance Society's Harlem Roots and Rhythm Urban Dance Festival, and that will be on Friday, November 3rd at the Harlem School of the Arts. If you'd like additional information about WHDC, please visit the website. Are there any questions? Okay,
Nope.
Thank you very much, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Pat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, Reverend Morgan Thomas with the UMass report. Good evening, Reverend.
Good evening, everyone. So thankful to be with you all, even though remotely. I took a pretty bad fall, but I'm so thankful that nothing's broken and that I can be here and share with you today some great financial opportunities for our community. As you know, I serve as a representative for Community Board 9 on UMass, and UMass has the ability to extend funds to many of our businesses. I've been very interested, and I think I had said before that one of the things I wanted to do was to be able to share exactly what portion of the funding that is coming into UMass is going back into our community. And compared to the other community boards, our community board has received 10% of the overall funding that is brought into UMass. And this just concerns me a little bit. Community Board 12 has also received 10%. However, Community Board 11 has received 56% of the loans that are given out annually. And that is not to say that anything is awry, but that is to say that maybe as a community board, and maybe that it's something that I should look at as the representative of the community board to UMass, doing a better job of getting information out into our communities, to our businesses, so that they know that they should be making application. The loans are the micro loans that were given out so far for this this fiscal year have totaled $536,600. And so we want to look at the fact that we have a lot of new businesses in our community. Those of you who are attending, you know, some of the new restaurants and coffee shops, you know, do, you know, mention to them, or you know, mention to me the name of the organization, because I would like for us to get this information out. I see along Broadway some new businesses that have come up. And so one of the things I'm looking to do is to get out to talk to those businesses, to talk about how they might benefit from getting some of the loans, the micro loans from UMass. And basically microloans can go up to $50,000. I think oftentimes we don't apply. I think many times our businesses feel like, you know, they don't have the necessary collateral, or they don't have, you know, great length of time in business. One of the things that UMass does is they do meet with the business, and the finance person really gets to know the business and to know the individuals. So that's the benefit of going to UMass for a loan, because you're not held to the same requirements and regulations that many of the banks hold our small businesses to. UMass is able to grant a loan based on the fact that we believe that this business, based on the individual, their track record in doing some other things, the vision of the business, what they're already accomplishing, all of those things play into the factor of them getting approved for a loan. So I just, I'm always concerned. I've said it before, I wasn't able in the past to have the exact percentage of how much of the money that is available is coming back into Community Board 9. For instance, in this quarter, we have 4 businesses that have applied for and been approved for loans. 3 of them are already closed, and we have one, our Cafe One Harlem, that has applied. And it's my understanding that they are also going to be approved. So we, sometimes I think we feel like these businesses know where to go, but I think what we should recognize is maybe they don't. And we should do a little bit to help them. I'm not trying to put this on the staff. I certainly would be glad to go out and talk to business owners myself. Also, just want to remind everybody that UMass is also getting some more federal funding and will be in a position to add to our portfolio some additional small business loans in the amount of $25,000. And they will also be micro loans, not macro loans. So they'll be available to our smallest small businesses. Thank you. I think that's the gist of my report.
Thank you, Reverend. I have a comment, but not a question. Somebody might have a question. My comment is, I had the pleasure of sitting in on the Economic Development Committee meeting last month and this month. And it was a discussion about doing a economic resource fair, which we would invite businesses to. And that'd be a great opportunity to talk about this. So we will keep you up to date. And
absolutely.
It's going to take place.
And Chair, we might also be able to get some of those businesses who have successfully gone through the process to come to the forum and share their information, because I think if other small businesses hear from businesses that they know of that have been successful, it would give them encouragement to go forward as well.
Absolutely. Any questions? Ms. Joyce Adewume.
Not a question, but just to add to what Reverend Morgan Thomas was saying, in addition to having the businesses come and talk about the experience, I think it'll also be important to have like UMass go through an actual application.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can arrange that, they're often going out, the loan chair is always looking to meet with people, so we can certainly do that.
Great.
I don't think it'll be a problem.
Continue to recover. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tina, question.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Do you have any stats on the number of businesses that applied and did not receive funding?
Could you hear it, Reverend?
How many businesses applied?
Right.
Oh, I can certainly get those numbers, but from being present in the meetings and discussions, there were only 2 recent applications from CB9. One of them didn't go through the entire process. And then one wasn't approved because there were some questions about their ability to continue to be profitable enough to pay back the loan. But I can get the exact numbers. That'll be very easy. I'll have them send that to me. And so for our next meeting, I'll provide those.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Okay, next speaker will be from Department of Sanitation. I didn't want to mispronounce your name.
It's not right here, it's my.
Okay, great, thank you.
Very much for having us.
Thank you.
This is mine. So, my name is Miguel. Yeah, why I'm joined by my colleague and just speak a little louder.
Louder, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Go to hear me.
Your name.
Yes, ma'am. Listen, I cannot really win with you.
Yes,
Hi, my name is Miguel Sierra. I am from DSNY. I am today joined by my colleague Antonio Whitaker over there. So very quickly, like the chairman mentioned earlier, as all of you know, we have this container program pilot that we're doing right now in this in the area. As of September 27th of this year, we completed around 42 containers were installed in the pilot area. And to date, from what we know so far, folk actually are using the containers the proper way and rightly. Yes, indeed, we've seen some folks leaving some stuff around the containers that we, of course, will immediately come in, take care of once we're aware of it. We are aware as well that there have been some issues of, how do you call it, yes, as well, which of course we're taking care of as soon as we're aware of it. Residents actually and supers so far given us very decent feedback in terms of what we've been doing. And to date, in terms of the schools in the area as well in the pilot zone, we have worked very closely with them, and I would suggest to all of you to actually let us know if there's any issue that you guys observe, during that process. I think to date, it's been pretty positive from the schools. DOE and the department are working very closely together to ensure that we continue to serve the schools on a 5-day week basis. That's what we're doing right now. I will wait to listen to any feedback you guys have to give us, so we take it back to the department.
Questions? George?
Thank you so much for coming. I'm also the president of the 30 Precinct Community Council. And the Deputy Commissioner, Jonathan Biggers, was there. He came, I invited him to come and give a talk about this. And most of the residents were very happy with this. Some even wished that it could be in their own street. People, car owners are very happy because they've experienced rats eating their wires and paying thousands of dollars to replace the wires. So this has made them feel at ease. The complaints I get the good and get the bad. Oh, one more good was that people are now able to take out their trash. They don't have to wait till nighttime to take out their trash. Okay. But the other complaint that I've gotten is that the bins get full too quickly. So and we know that if they add another bin, that's another parking space that will go. But so those are the comments I've received.
Thank you. We'll take that back and we'll take a second look at the area and, and keep working to improve. It's a pilot, like the chairman said. So we're really going to listen more than.
Well, I have a question. So questions
Yes.
that I've heard from my community is how it will work when it snows and in times when we have massive snow or like rain, torrential rains and floods. How are these bins, the cleaning of the bins? There are questions about the cleaning of the bins. I mean, we know they just empty into the truck, but do they actually get cleaned? At some point in time, there's going to be an odor, there's going to be a smell, there's going to be food waste left in there somehow.
Yes, on the issue of to have it been cleaned, part of the pilot really is to actually help us figure some of those things out as we go along. We would clean, and we do clean. Once the men who do the emptying of the bins, once they notice it, this is their responsibility to do what needs to be done to ensure that it's clean. Around snow issues, unfortunately, these are just the facts of life. When it snows, like any time, we're all women, as there's some of us, we pick up the garbage because we have to do that. It's just the way it is. There's no way around it. So you're going to see us out there even in the middle of the snow. So we can do what we've been doing. We're not going to really stop.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sir.
You know, we just started, so I. Wait and see. I will work that out. Yes.
The chair mentioned something about earlier about what you recently about a pilot program, right? And what determines the success of a pilot program and whether it lasts or it's diminished? And my other part, my two-part question is that when you put this pilot program together and put these components in these strategic locations, you know for sure that it takes away from the parking space of the residents who normally used to use that space. And now, because these containers are being placed all over the city, now they're going around in circles and circles, and sometimes can't even find a parking space for 3 or 4 hours. What do we do and how do we address those people?
Let me start with the second question first. We are quite aware of digital parking because in New York City, parking is premium and there's no way around it. And all I can really say is we just put the indulgence of the community because we're really trying to do this to ensure that we keep the community clean and to ensure that we can help mitigate the issues of rats, which is really all over the street. This pilot give us that enough information to help us develop much more robust, I guess, ideas and strategy on how to come back and take out. On the issue of what, let me wait, not another question yet. I'll tell you why, because I don't know, like, it is something that I don't have enough information to say. So success will happen as we go through the process. We evaluate, as we're here, talking as we can, to this it, and take all the comments and get back to continue to tweak the pilot to ensure that we're able to respond to the issues of the community just as prepared as we can. So allow me not to like tell you what that will look like, but just allow us to walk through the case of the issue. And then I'm sure we'll come back again and hopefully we get to the debate that all of us want.
In the back, I can't. Shanika. Who? Tina, you have a question?
How long is the pilot and especially when they attack? It's a pilot, it's the only one type of pilot that is considering numbers as well.
It's a pilot, like you said, but now what we have is what we're using, I mean, things can change of course, but now what we have is what we are, using. And
you're not considering,
I don't want to say they are not, so I'm trying to be very careful not to give wrong information. So allow me to just keep it the way it is. Is it possible to look at something else? Of course, always possible to do so. But for now, what we are using is for the time being. So doesn't mean this cannot change. Yes.
So on 153rd between Broadway and Amsterdam, there's a different type of receptacle there with a lid. Is that just in that place? Is that experimental?
Both of them are experimental for now. There's nothing that is, from what I know. Okay. Right? So that's why I said, I'm going to give an answer to something that is.
I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, exactly. So there are two out there right now.
Because there was concern with people who collect bottles going in and flipping it and then taking stuff out and leaving it. This other type that I saw, you really can't do that.
That's why part of it again is a pilot.
It's a pilot. Right.
So,
Shanika is still not there.
Oh, that's a question which I need. You have an idea? Because I'm not so sure the exact. Yes, this.
So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So my name is Antonio Whitaker. I work with Assistant Commissioner Cotiero. I'm the Assistant Director of our Community Affairs Bureau. And to answer your question, then let me walk over here as I'm getting the wave. There we go. All right. So to answer your question, then currently there isn't an express end date to the pilot, but before I go on, we want to continue to have discussions with the community board, engage with local residents. To continuously get your feedback, and that is going to inform our metrics as to when the commissioner, when the department will officially end the pilot. We can take that data, we can look at it, we can analyze it to ensure whether or not it is actually successful and if it can be scaled upward. So right now, there is no exact end date. It'll go on for another couple months, but this is something we're going to continuously talk to the local community about, and that will inform the department that's doing that.
All right. Shanika?
All right, I have two questions as well. One, have you studied at all where the rats are going? So the concern, right, but I am curious, there's some sort of data, because I was homeowners say that they've had issues with rats in the past. And I grew up in a brownstone, I know how easy it is to get to brownstone. So what I'm wondering is, has data been collected, have there been complaints to 311 about additional rat issues, things like that? And then I have another question.
Let me, full disclosure, I have no clue where the rats go. But I can say, I say that though, I'm someone who's a woman as well, and I mean, so I'm from Brooklyn. The big issues we have in best rats is just what it is. I mean, you know, we do our best to deal with it. To your question, ma'am, as you know, we have a rat side in New York City. One of the things that office is doing is looking into specific questions and trying to create mitigation strategies. Right, this is one of it that we're doing right now. You know, trying to mitigate against this issue. Of course, we deal with population of rats. How do you do that? I'll let the rats and a team.
The rat guard isn't working with your pilot at all?
No, the rats are working different from my office, but we want to.
Yeah.
We do talk and work together and try to, yes, we work. As one state, of course, we have to. Yes.
Our question was. Discuss with other city agencies about additional parking spots for places that have involved.
Let's take that back, but thank you for that, I'll take that back. Please, thank you.
And that,
I don't have a question and more of a comment. I think you're setting that I'm meeting, but as a pilot program, there are two words that I wish you would consider: partnership and transparency. As this thing is constantly evolving, instead of us getting information after the fact, please, as you're giving your feedback, consider us, and bring that information to us before. Okay, and I'm saying that to you, but you also need to share that with our city council.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
thank you. Harry.
If a block is interested in becoming part of the pilot, is that possible? And if so, how would they do that?
I will have to get back to you. Because I believe the last time we were here, this same question was asked by somebody, I think it was just somebody.
Probably me.
And so let me take that back.
Well, the reason I ask is because in June, when Victor and I were sitting in opposite seats, that was supposed to be part of the rollout is, you know, blocks that were interested in becoming part of the pilot would have the opportunity to self-identify. And I know that my block, you know, the supers on my block and property owners were interested given our rat issue. So, you know, we're not part of the initial rollout. But I think that's still something that there should be a process for that continual engagement if there is an interest in joining the pilot. And you'll probably have better results if you have committed and engaged, you know, folks.
Okay, I got you. Take it back to them, you know, which we.
One last question. We have to move on. Liz. Liz.
And that question, my question was really about, what is the data, how are we expecting the data? Not necessarily need those details, but I think exactly what the data is saying, that this is the type of community where we want to know what the data is that you're getting, how you're getting it. So as you're collecting data, whether it's this is they go by, it's good thing. I think we're gonna do.
Carolyn, one last question here.
The containers that on top, the red, and not here. They shouldn't be able to get it. Once it's closed, you can't get it. But of course, you know.
When it's closed.
Yes, when it's closed. When it's closed, you know, the garbage and you gotta close it.
You're talking about those square things that we see on the street with the, it's like a close real tight.
Yes, it should close. It should. If there's a problem, let us know.
That's what I do.
It should. Close. If it doesn't, let us know. Yes.
Thank you so much. You will be here every other month. Is that the plan?
From understanding, you can see that.
Okay, good. Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much. December. Thank you. All right. All right, moving on. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. A report from the Manhattan Borough President's Office.
Nina White.
I'm here, but the deputy said she didn't want to join. So is she on the call?
Which one?
Oh, Keisha.
Oh, she did say that today. But she had another meeting, she said also, so.
I've been checking in.
Is she the 917 number?
Keisha, are you on?
They're not being recorded.
There's a *9 or *6 to raise your hand.
You should get raise. Yeah, try to raise your hand.
She hasn't responded.
That is not her number.
All right, well, in the interest of time,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry. This is fine. Can you hear me online? Hello?
Speak that way.
Here, this way.
This
The
way?
owl. Yeah.
All right.
That's right, go, now you got it.
As long as she.
That's
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, so hi everyone, Nina White, I'm here community on behalf of Manhattan Borough President Rusty. First of all, it's good to be in the room with some of, I know the new board members, so it's good to see your faces, we don't be strangers at the end. So just on behalf of the borough president, just concerning Board 9 issues. I know we found a lot of complaints about the schoolyard with PS335, it's our middle school, and we get technical school with the delay in that schoolyard opening. Our president did submit a letter last week to school construction authority commissioner, as well as NRC park commissioner, on just requesting just the immediate attention and making sure that that schoolyard is open, because we do know that school is heavily populated. And that there's co-location, so you know the students need to move their bodies and just have access to the schoolyard. Two, we're very excited about holiday lights. Office is has always participated. It's being kind of like the route along going through the street holiday lights. So we look forward to that event taking place and supporting that event. And also. I know you posted your team up to clean up and of course, and that the borough president, of course, is always happy to support causes that don't do their better than my director, Patricia Moore, was happy to attend. For all board members, I know last month we had a lot of onboarding sessions, leadership training series. That will happen again for those who have missed it, because I know with the dates, sometimes fall on full boards. If you missed it, on the week of November 13th, we'll be having a number of mandatory, but also trainings that are also open to the community, such as parliamentary procedure, conflict of interest. So you'll have another opportunity to take those trainings again, and it's also open to the community if you're interested as well. Yes.
Have taken those courses and you bring, you get a certificate
recognition that they finish the course.
We don't get certificates, but I mean, these.
I'm a city employee, I have to.
Oh, you mean, not as a board member, you can, okay, that's a good question. I will take it back and I will, if you should be emailed, that's very, not,
But everybody can take the course as well, they mention at the end that they accomplished it correctly.
well,
There's
but
no
as city
test.
employees, we get that, like, if we have to take special care.
But people, and the ones that are not city employees, but they're not. I'm saying they should get some recognition if they bother to take it. Don't work like that. Like I'm retired, and if I bother to take it, I want to recognize.
I mean, well, you want people that you want our office to know that you did take it, so we're not harassing you and saying, well, we don't think we'll threaten your membership too much, but we want you to be, take it, be independent as a board member.
Retired.
Yeah. I did put some flyers on the table, but we do have an upcoming event. Veterans Day is coming up, and we're working with some local work officials to just open up the Metropolitan Museum on Wednesday. So on November 1st, on Wednesday, 2024, we'll have Vets at the Met. And so if you have any veterans in your life, if you yourself are a veteran, or even military, if you don't be turned, even if you just show up, it's fine. But we specifically want the veterans to come show their appreciation. They'll have access to the first and second floor exhibits of the Metropolitan Museum. So five on the table, please take them back to the building, take back to your communities. And that concludes my report. I can talk about many of the past events that we had an MWBE event at the state office building. I was attended with HP and school construction, and many other agencies. Columbia also participated to just announce the many contracts we have available. But okay, but thank you all. If you need me, I'll be here again. I'll answer questions.
Go ahead. I just want to piggyback, and I know that I informed the chair about the projected date at the Annunciation program, because you talked about the roadside park that hasn't been opened yet. And you projected that the Annunciation playground was supposed to open up sometime in the middle of September. And we are now almost close to the end of October, and that project still is not open. And my concern is that these kids are back in school, and now they're already bombed up in school, right? And because that park is not completed yet, now I think it's not fair to the teachers or to, especially to the community and to the students that this park is no longer in use, and this park is very robust. It's used by so many people, and now that the kids have to be in class all day, and now at most times they have to sit in the auditorium, I think that something should be done about that. I've also noticed Steve Simon, who was the district manager, and he hasn't gotten back to me. I don't know if he's going to get back to you because he doesn't have an answer yet. But I don't think that it's fair to the school. I don't think it's fair to the community. And if they give it a projected date, closing the park and saying that it's supposed to open at a certain time, they should reach that deadline. That park should be in use.
Can you take that back?
I will take that back. So thank you for flagging me.
And Mary has a question.
I actually forgot my question, but I did have feedback on the EEO training. I did both FOIB and EEO. FOIB was great as usual. But the EEO training did not answer anyone's questions about being a community board member. A lot of it focused on colleagues and supervisors and subordinates. And those of us who are community board members don't have, that are community board members. So that's why we have to take the training, except we don't really have subordinates or supervisors. And so folks who had questions about that didn't get them answered. So if that could be special, if that could be tailored to community boards, that would be, oh, I remember my question.
Relationship.
Yes. The question was, we heard about residential permit parking. And I know the borough president, when he was in the city council, authored our residential permit parking bill. And I was wondering if that's something that he is engaged in now, especially given that congestion pricing is still coming. Thought it was coming a while ago.
Yeah. I flagged that because I do know it's been in the conversation for me, but, I will get that back on our radar and how we can continue to support that legislation and what council member will want to take part in that legislation.
Thank you.
So, yeah, and I'll hold words in your session too.
Thank you, Zena. Appreciate it.
Quick question. Last year you did the senior day at the Met. It was pouring rain, but it was a fabulous trip. I hope that you include it because I like maybe white our senior to come. So if you can put that back on the calendar. I know it's winter time. It's not as easy as maybe in the spring. Maybe spring will probably be a little better.
Right.
Traveling purposes. The buses are right here, so we don't have to need transportation. But it was a great event. It's still even with the rain, it's still a lot of folks there. But it's a fabulous museum, so,
No, that's too, no, we definitely are thinking about doing it again and hoping for the warmer weather, but I mean, seniors are veterans too, so, we're going to come.
Okay.
And then, I'm sorry, last day I did forget, we will be having a Manhattan President, Day of Action on November 4th, 12 o'clock. We'll be cleaning different areas of Harbor. So if you have any specific areas that you'd like to recommend for us to clean, and or if you yourself would like to participate on that day, again, it's Saturday, Saturday, November 4th. So mark your calendars if that's the day you want to participate, with that office.
Great.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you.
Our next person, Tiffany Brown from the mayor's office.
I think we do.
Oh. Oh, you said public forum.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Thank you for having me. My name is Tiffany Brown. I can't go there, okay. But my name is Tiffany Brown, and I'm from Tiffany Brown, your Manhattan Borough Director from the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs. I just want to introduce myself to those who I have not met and faces that I'm not familiar with, so please make sure you see me after the meeting so I can give you my contact information. I just wanted to report that our great Mayor Eric Adams has his second annual trick or treat. Yeah, the expansion of park-free streets across the borough. Great turnout last year, so they expanded him and Don, the DOT commissioner, expanded it for this year, but this community, I'll just give you the dates of all of them, and if you know anyone that might want to attend the 7 different dates from Manhattan, okay, I'll give you Saturday, October 28th. Okay, Audubon Avenue from West 186th Street to West 188 in Manhattan. That's from 12 to 4. Then we have Sunday, October 29th. Frederick Douglass Boulevard from West 112th Street to 120th Street, and the time for that will be from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. Then we also have Tuesday, October 31st. And that's Dykeman Street from Broadway to Seaman Avenue from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you know anyone that would like to come out and take part in the festivity, please share with them. Also, our great mayor would love to hear from his constituents. He has a radio show on WBLS every Sunday. And if you would like to call up and speak to him personally, I'm going to give you that number. That number is 212-545-1075.
One something. You need that number again?
Yes.
That number is 212-545-1075, and that's Sundays at 10:30 a.m. And then my last report is, Mayor Eric Adams, New York Department of Housing Preservation and Development Commissioner of Dartmouth on Junior and New York City Housing Development Corporation announced that New York City homes with housing vouchers will no longer undergo credit checks for anyone. Anyone that is holding a voucher that's in the shelter system that is looking to get out. The credit check has been removed, so the process should be a little bit easier for them going forward, okay? And that concludes my report. You have any questions, please? You both are the please. Yes. If the permit still goes in for whether a bad or not, yes.
What, activities will be available at that, or those events? Well, I mean, closing the streets.
Right, so there'll probably be activities for kids, candy giveaways, and different, whatever the sponsors have that day. I can't speak to
Okay, so
specifically what they have, but it will probably be kids, giveaways, of course, candy, and whatever activities they bring to the event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you send me those dates, Tiffany?
I will.
Yes.
Tiffany,
Yes.
I'm only part of Cordero.
I
spoke.
Yes, yeah.
Nice to meet you in
Pleasure to
person.
see you. I'm happy to see faces.
I know, like in the flesh. You only gave 3 dates. Did I miss the other 4?
Well, the other ones are for the other girls.
Oh, okay, got you.
But let me just double check this.
All right. Well, while you're looking.
She's gonna send it. I'll send it to you to make sure you have it.
The only comment I wanted to make, this, as an aside, those dates you gave, just to remind people, early voting starts October 28th. So while you're hanging out in the streets, freaking streets. The polling side. That's what I just wanted to ask.
Hi, Tiffany. It has been a pleasure to work with you in the mayor's office, and it's a very welcome change from my prior experience. But I know I'm a broken record, but 1727 Amsterdam Avenue. We passed a giant resolution about it. We remain opposed to it. We think there can be more housing there with a better provider, with our full return of our healthcare services. And so if that could be brought to the attention, I know Victor has a meeting with the deputy mayor, but
voice counts.
yeah.
I'm still waiting for that information, the follow-up for you. I didn't forget. It's on my radar, so the minute I hear something, if it's before your meeting, I will let you know.
Thank you.
Okay?
You want to speak about 127?
Yes.
You said 10:30 start time, but you didn't give us.
It's 4 hours. Right. You will want to get up a little early and catch him in the beginning. Yes.
Joyce?
Yes, thank you. I wanted to ask, how do they determine the location of these fabulous events? Because it seemed like they always forget this district when it comes to something great, but they remember us when it comes to homeless buildings, construction of homeless houses and stuff like that.
I would have to double that. I would have to follow up and find out, because I'm not privy to how they come up with the locations that they pick when they do these street roads. But I can follow up with the LT and double back.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Going to public session now.
Okay.
Public session.
Welcome to public session, everybody. So as a reminder, there are 3 minutes per speaker. We have 6 people signed up to speak. You will hear the beeping when your 3 minutes are up, and I would ask you to then end your comments. The first person signed up is Kevin Gessner, I think. Yes, hi, come on down and whenever you're ready.
Yes. Mark, I will not be my 3 minutes. I'm Kevin Gessner. I'm a grad student at City College in the architecture school. I'm doing a research project on the trash containerization pilot, particularly CB9's involvement in it happening here, how it happened, why it happened, and how it's going. I would love to connect with anyone from the community or from the board who has been involved with it, has feelings about it, opinions about it. I'm sitting right there. Please come by at some point. I'd love to get your name or your email so we can connect and I can hear from you about it. Again, my name's Kevin. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for keeping it to 30 seconds. Next up is Mercedes Laura or Lorca.
Oh.
I can do it, but I'm also signed up to speak, so.
Yeah, that one kind of.
All right.
Oh, maybe.
Bienvenidos.
Yo estoy aquí porque en mi edificio, cuando llueve, cae agua, el agua afuera del edificio por los ladrillos. Y yo hablé con HDP y me dicen que ellos no pueden arreglar esa parte porque cuesta mucho dinero. So, yo creo que yo no puedo vivir así, que cada vez que cae un agua grande en la habitación de atrás del cuarto, tengo que estar poniendo conchera a recoger agua, toalla y todo lo que hay ahí se me echa a perder.
So my name is Mercedes Laura, and I'm here because every time it rains, there is water entering into my apartment. I called HPD, my landlord, and they told me that they don't think they're going to repair the bricks, the masonry that needs repairing because it is too expensive. And I just don't think I can live this way. Every time it rains, I have to put out big buckets that collect water and also replace the things that have been ruined by the water entering my home.
Where is she living?
En el 471 West de la 145 Street, New York, 131, apartamento 3.
471 West 145th, apartment 3E.
Is that the certain?
That's correct.
And the water's coming from the roof?
Ese es el departamento arriba.
No, yo estoy en el piso, por la ventana, por los ladrillos.
Basically on the side of the building. It's on the 3rd floor in the 5-story building.
And what has HPD or anybody, no involvement yet?
Is that your?
Know that the community board has an attorney that comes once a month, the first Thursday. The next date is November 7th, from 1 to 5 p.m.
Tiene un abogado que viene una vez por mes para ayudar a los inquilinos en esta circunstancia. La próxima vez es
El primer jueves.
el primer de cada mes, ¿no?
Sí.
7 de noviembre.
1 to 5 p.m. walking.
1 a 5 de la tarde. Se puede venir a.
I'm gonna give her my card, she can call.
Sí, ahora la.
It's on the card.
Oh, the date? Oh, no.
Oh, the date, okay.
Thank you, John.
Thursday, November 7th. 1 to 5 p.m.
Have her speak to you.
And so, you know,
Yeah, the number there.
and there will be the, paralegals, people that are.
We have Manhattan Legal Services comes to the office the first Thursday of every month, and that's what we're recommending to her as well.
You know, this is our monthly issue off the seat, but I'll come and get her.
Chair.
Tell her she needs to speak to me. I need.
Esta mujer trabaja con el alcalde, la oficina del
And
alcalde.
call me tomorrow. Who is her landlord?
It's HPD.
HPD.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you so
Network
much.
was Monica was managing the building for years, so, and now it's back to HPD.
Okay.
Every time it rains, it seems that this is a more structural program, a problem, because every time it rains, it's like got water.
Thank you.
Down the side of the building, so yeah, that's something that the landlord should be doing.
Next up is Andres Romero Rejuela.
Oh, hello. Okay, so I wrote down what I want to say just because of the time. And it has to do with this building. So the building 471 West 145th Street is operated by HPD and Acacia Network. The building 475 West 145th Street is operated by Samaritan Daytop Village. Both buildings have major physical problems. 471, as you just heard, has damaged and decrepit masonry, making it impossible for more than just Mercedes to live there. And 475 has an ongoing repeated gas smell that brings the fire department to the building often. Most recently, about 3 weeks ago at 4 a.m. with 5 trucks and alarms blaring. I live in the building between 471 and 475, 473. The fire department broke our front door, leaving it wide open and left access to our roof open too. But these are not the sole dangers that we face at our building, which is a fledgling HDFC, some of you are familiar with, from the buildings next door. There is also trafficking of all sorts in at least one of the buildings that leaks onto the street, including onto 145th Street in Convent, for those of you who might have noted. At least once, a narcotics user wandered into our building and tried to enter into apartments. It seems clear no one is taking care of the buildings adjacent to us, either in physical terms, or in terms of the tenants. This is especially concerning because 475 West 145th Street is supportive housing. This means big contracts and big money to provide extra care for the tenants of the building. Presumably, since the idea of supportive housing is to give people housing first, it means ensuring that their homes are safe from the elements. Who is accountable for these buildings and the effects that they had on the neighborhood, including on my building? And given the plans to develop the building on the corner, 1727 Amsterdam, into a 3-structure complex of supportive housing, how do we begin to ensure that social service providers that cause undesirable impacts be held responsible and face consequences when they do not meet basic physical standards of safety or their stated goals? The former mayor of New York City, I'm not a big fan of, I'll just put that out here, suggested an overall review of city providers of housing when the scandal surrounding Victor Rivera was revealed in 2018. Some of you will remember Victor, who made hundreds of $millions doing all sorts of unmentionable, awful, totally reprehensible things. Lamentably, it seems like only these kinds.
Your time is up.
Oh, last sentence. Lamentably, it seems like only these kinds of scandals motivate us to hold city providers and the city responsible, though not necessarily to follow through.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question for you. Do either the building or your building in particular have a tenant association or?
Yes, so we're an HFC, we have a board, but like I said, we're new, a new HDFC, and let's just say I think it's a lot for the building to handle. I mean, maintaining the building and then sort of facing the outside is something that the board has still learning how to do.
Okay.
The other building, 471, is that in the process of becoming an HDFC?
I believe it's in the TIL program. It's like, it hasn't done that final step of conversion. It's an HDFC owned by the city. And none of the shares have been dispersed with the people. The thing that should be mentioned about 471, which is being ruined by the elements, is that this building just went through a multi-million-dollar renovation by the city. So now all of those millions of dollars are being damaged by the lack of upkeep of the building. So it's like, it seems like an enormous risk.
471 was just, oh, wow.
Yeah, all within the past, 10, 15 years. Yeah.
Thank you.
No.
Question.
More of a comment just about the masonry issue. So like it happened in my building, when water gets in and the elements get into the brickwork, it creates a very dangerous, that's why we have local 11 inspections. But like it creates a very dangerous situation for, obviously the flooding, but falling pieces of masonry that actually happens with, my building and the building next to it. So, that's something that, obviously, because a lot of kids, there's schools right there and it's a corridor for.
Yeah. Well, and also these are five, oh, sorry.
No, I mean, but I just saw the one that compared to the one I catch every day in my kids' school, and it's like, on the one, or
Yeah.
one, and it's like, that is part of the building, they can take care of that.
Yeah.
To be a matter of life and death.
Ilana, I think we're gonna call the next person, but your point is well taken.
Well, local law 11 doesn't apply to. buildings.
Okay, thank you.
So next is Ayuda NYC. Oh, okay, we'll come back to her. Sharon De La Cruz. Come on down. Welcome. Our own board member.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sharon De La Cruz. First time here, I think this is.
Good to see you.
Nice to meet you. I wanted to bring up the issue that I live on 153rd and Broadway, and around the surrounding area, since the pandemic, there's been heightened, basically car break-ins. And it started in the pandemic and it's just increased to the point where when I walk to the train station, there'll be 3 or 4 cars overnight that have been broken into. I did speak to the 30th, and they knew all about it. And they said, yeah, well, we need to catch the person in the act. I agree. I think that should be the truth to catch the person in the act, and it has not happened, and it just keeps happening and happening. I stopped to Avail's office as well, and giving them credit that they did reach out to 30th and 31st precinct. But again, it's just happening and nothing, the police officer that I spoke to also just like nonchalantly said that, oh, that's like, we're not gonna look at the.
What? I can't hear you, ma'am.
They're not gonna look at the cameras, or like the
Oh,
cameras.
the cameras.
Yeah, because there are cameras there, and actually last month I was victim to a car break-in. And it's repeated and everyone does it. I just also don't want this to become like a vigilante thing, right? Like someone searching for who did what. So just wanting to put a little more pressure on your response to the person.
Yeah.
We are with that, but my understanding is it's a food. It's not one person. Food
Yeah.
that they're looking at. What they're going to do in the person. So they're looking at that.
Yeah.
Karen, the same thing is happening on Riverside. My neighbors called me the other day, they have 4 windows broken out, so we're looking to see what we could do. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Carol Thompson.
Sharon, can you, I'm also the president of the precinct committee council, and I have to give reports.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what street again, please?
I'm on 153rd and Broadway, but it's been 152nd, it's been 153rd in Amsterdam. It's been a little around, and even my Woody College is 155th.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Tova Peterson. Regarding a volunteer tailoring training, I think she's, oh, there she is. All right, your time starts now.
I don't know if you can see me, but I'm going to speak anyways because I think you can hear me. So yes, I am a bespoke tailor. I work for a company that makes suits for Broadway shows. We make the principal men's costumes for Hamilton, so things like that. And my desire is to train youth and formerly incarcerated people to tailor. So, oh yeah, okay. To make suits, and so I'm here to speak in hopes that I can connect with people who may know people who want to be trained to be tailors, or just are good at sewing and want to expand their skills, so that I can work with people who are like really into this like I am, and also perhaps to connect with people who might have a space that I could do this in, so that it could be a safe environment. So yeah, I'm just really here to connect with people as much as possible on this idea. Again, maybe I didn't say it. I'm a volunteer, so like I'm not looking to be paid for this. It is because I desire to give back from my skills.
Do you think you could put a way for folks to contact you in the chat and we can read it out too?
Sure thing. Yeah, I'll put my email. Oh no, the chat is disabled, so I'm not able to do that.
Oh, because she's an attendee.
Laquita has her information.
Laquita has my info. So yeah, you can talk if Laquita, if you don't mind sharing it, I'm happy to share.
I can, she can say, I mentioned to Toba that it would be great for her to come tonight to at least present the concept.
Sure.
And once she gets a location and where this would happen and all, she would then put out.
Okay, I think we should connect her to the Fortune Society, definitely, and
Soha.
Osborne,
And
Soha, and maybe the Boys and Girls Club might have. We got people.
Wonderful.
And I invite her to come to the arts and culture meeting as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell me more, please. Yeah.
And then economic development would be great also, as well as you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And youth.
Yeah.
Well, so
May
you
I?
have contact information? Okay, good.
Let me give it right now or publicly
Yes.
now.
Excellent. Okay.
May I be recognized?
So I can send it to you for the telephone number and email address.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, so,
Awesome.
thank
Thank you so much.
All righty.
Yeah. I really
I'm sorry,
appreciate it.
Mr. Chair, may I be recognized? I just want to give her the information for the arts and culture meeting.
Can you drop it in the chat?
Yes.
I don't think she can see it, because when I was,
I
It's-
think I can now.
okay,
Yeah.
sure, thank you.
Thank you.
So next up, we have Ayuda NYC, our last and final public session speaker.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, hi, good evening. My name is Liliana Peña. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I just did something. Good evening. My name is Liliana Peña, and I'm here today to introduce myself and my business. I do the NYC. We are here in hopes of helping the community. That's what we've been doing for, it's a startup. We've been here now for 2 years. We have now collaborated with 3333 Broadway Residents Association. So we are right here in the community. I have an office space here. And basically we're an official also. I'm an official program partner for HRA, so I can help assist with applications, seniors, anyone that has issues with applying for services, issues with their mail, any issues with city services, and most importantly, these agencies that a lot of people always have issues with in terms of communicating with these clerks, your landlord, issues with housing, any types of issues like this. I am very versed in assisting in all of these matters. With an official program partner from HRA, I can be the voice for you. I assist people with their issues and in all aspects of their lives. Here at New York, NYC, we empower our community with information and support, ensuring that every individual understands their basic rights, assesses their access to the services that they need, and can navigate the systems more efficiently. And that's why I have named this organization Ayúdame NYC, which in Spanish means help me. And that's exactly what we're here to do. We're here to help those in need and provide support and most importantly, advocacy. While working with these organizations, I've learned much more help is needed and how much more effort is needed to assist these agencies as well, which for me seems like they just don't have the capacity to really assist in the way that they need to. In closing, I'm thrilled here to share my story and the mission of Ayúdame NYC with you, the dedicated members of Community Board 9, thank you. And I'm confident that our shared experiences and shared vision can lead to a brighter future for our community. I want to share, you know, in terms of what the gentleman was saying earlier about right to counsel. I work in housing fields also, so I'm always assisting beyond the official paperwork and helping people get their needed time that they need to apply for these services, which usually do not go hand in hand. The judge in themselves, they have their own agendas, and these agencies have their own agendas as well. The time limits don't match. Judges give you a certain time frame for you to apply for services. It's difficult to apply to these services because of the application process. A lot of people don't understand what to do, how to fill them out, what paperwork is needed. So I'm just integral part, I believe, in these two issues that can assist and can just keep the ball rolling so that at the end of the day, people can just get moving and do what it is that they need to do and not worry less.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Contact information there?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Ayúdame NYC, you can contact me at our website, www.ayudamenyc.com, ayudamenyc@gmail. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Can you?
Card. I have flyers here.
Oh, good.
And a
Okay.
sign-up sheet if anyone needs assistance or
Okay.
knows of any seniors or people that need help.
We'll share that.
Please.
Thank you.
Also, services are free. I also have paid and free services that if people need information with communications, letter writing, things like that. I assist with that. And so honestly, all of my services are oftentimes free. We accept donations. We have a senior issue committee, Walter and Paulson are the co-chairs. Senior action, I'm sorry.
Also, maybe think about going from senior citizens.
Yes, that's part of my plan. Yeah.
Oh, good.
And if you say, then I can have a cultural meeting. I will be doing that. It's my first 2 weeks there, so I will definitely be doing that, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Yes, and I'll be here attending one meeting and just getting to know folks more and more.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
That concludes public session.
Alrighty, we'll go back to our elected officials. Nina Norwood, Congressman Espaillat's office.
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to Barry, youth, and the board. My name is Nina Norwood. I'm the Deputy District Director for United States Congressman Adriano Espaillat's Harlem office. And of course, in the interest of time, I definitely want to make this as quick as possible. I just have two quick announcements coming out of our office. First, we are doing the Congressional App Challenge. So we're inspiring students in the district. The Congressional App Challenge is the most prestigious prize in student computer science. Participation in the challenge has grown exponentially and has reached underserved, diverse, and rural student populations. So if you would like to learn more, please go and Google Congressional Art Challenge. They have the website with the link where you can go on and submit a deserving student. And we wish the best of luck to all our students throughout the 13th Congressional District for those who enter in this year's app challenge. Second announcement is we are still continuing, with our Service Academy nominations. So that has been ongoing for a couple of weeks, and we've had some great nominations that have come into our office. The deadline for that is October the 31st, the end of this month. So when you go onto Congressman Espaillat's congressional webpage, you can go ahead and submit for your nomination, and that will be followed up by our congressional and military representative, Mr. Mark Carlo. He will be following up with that, and he definitely can be reached at our Harlem office, and we continue to be open for your constituent service needs at 212-663-3900. Thank you again, everyone, for your time. Unless there's any questions for me, Barry. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Miriam Hernandez from Assemblyman O'Donnell's office.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I have a couple of events I want to share with you all. But first, I have a housekeeping item that I wanted to go back to. At our last CB9 meeting, someone asked about scaffolding. I did send my comments over to CB9. I don't know if that was sent over to the right person, but it was about scaffolding, how long they're allowed to stay up for. And really, it's as long as the permits are up to date, scaffolding is allowed to stay up. So of course, that's done in the interest of pedestrians to make sure that they're safe. But of course, we understand that, you know, with the issues that come as a result of scaffolding. But earlier this year, which you probably already know, but mostly for people watching, the public watching, the mayor's office did announce, and the Department of Buildings announced the plan to address the prolonged presence of scaffolds. And they are also looking into rolling out less intrusive designs for scaffolding so that people are discouraged from camping out beneath these scaffolds. In addition to this, the city council, as you probably know, they also introduced a bill to create timeframes for the removal of these scaffolds or construction related equipment. So this is especially when the project is inactive and instead allowed the city to complete the work. I just wanted to share that because in case that person is watching, to make sure that they know that I did not ignore their question. And as far as events go, we have a shredding event coming up. Our office is partnering with Council Member Gail Brewer and Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg to help you get rid of any unwanted paper. This is going to be Saturday, so October 28th, sorry, at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right outside of, we're right across from the Goddard Community Center, which is on 88th and Columbus. We do have a flyer, which I think I've already shared actually with CB9, but if you can disperse that with your network, that would be great. These next two events, I have not shared the flyers with CB9, but I will. The HPD mobile, we have two events with HPD, both of which will be mobile vans. The first outreach day that we have will be Wednesday, November 1st at 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that one is between West 111th and West 120th Street. The exact address is 1217 Amsterdam Avenue. And the second outreach day that we have with HPD will be Wednesday, November 8th at 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Also same time. And that one is it's going to be between West 100th Street and West 101st Street along Broadway. So the exact address is 2641 Broadway. But again, I will be sharing that with CB9. And this is, again, is just to, you know, have anyone who's interested or has any housing concerns, if you would like to go and speak with an HPD representative, this is the chance. There is no sign up. It's a first come, first serve sort of thing, but there's no appointments either necessary. You can just come in and join us, but it will be outside and it might be a little chilly during these days. So make sure that you dress warmly. The last event that we have planned, well, actually not the last event of the year, but in November, we have a senior health and resource fair planned. So our office is hosting this health fair with the Touro College of Medicine in partnership also with the National Alliance of Mental Illness, Jero, Lilly, and SPOP. So you can join us if you would like to have some medical screenings done and to receive information on preventative physical and mental health care. That will be Monday, November 13th at from 1 to 3 p.m. at the center at the Red Oak, the senior center. The exact address is 135 West 106th Street. For this event, space is limited, so it's a first come, first serve. The first two are not, but if you would like to, you know, receive some sort of medical screenings here, there's a whole list that we have. I'll share the flyer, the medical screenings that will be done. But I would definitely encourage those who are interested to come early. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Our phone number is 212-866-3970. I realize I always share it in the chat and I never say it. So just in case anyone's interested in the public who's watching in reaching me.
Question, can you send the information for the events to Ms. Prince at the Community Board office, please?
Oh, yeah, okay, great. I will do that.
I have a question. I will keep it very brief. Do you think it'd be possible for someone from the Assembly member's office to make it to Health and Environment? Because I know he's got the bill for residential permit parking, and that seems to be a hot topic tonight. And I know that the committee is having a meeting about it. Is it next month? Where's Laquita?
Yeah, Laquita.
What's that?
When's the Health Committee? When are they doing the permit parking thing?
Amir said November 6th at 6:30. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I can definitely bring along our legislative director and I will join. The Assembly member does have a bill for this, so we're very, very, of course, interested in hearing everyone's perspective on this. So we'll make it a point to join.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next speaker from Sean Abreu's office. Gabriella.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be I'm excited to be here tonight to talk about all the work that Councilmember Abreu is doing in the district and around the city. First and foremost, Councilmember Abreu is thrilled to be taking part in the 13th cycle of participatory budgeting, where the community decides how to spend $1 million for physical projects in and around the district. Our office will be tabling throughout Upper Manhattan in the coming weeks to hear your ideas, and we're super excited to see what projects you come up with. Here are some dates to keep in mind. We have 2 upcoming virtual information sessions for people to learn about the PB process. The first is on October 26th at 6:30 p.m. and the second is November 2nd at 6:30 p.m. Madison has sent out materials regarding these sessions, but I am dropping the registration links in the chat as soon as I'm finished here. We are also looking for delegates who get to decide which idea submissions make it onto the ballot for the community to vote on during vote week from April 6th to April 14th. If you would like to be a volunteer, volunteer to budget. If you would like to volunteer to be a budget delegate, please email us at district7@councilnyc.gov. The deadline to sign up is on November 16th. Moreover, Councilmember Abreu has recently introduced legislation that targets one of the biggest producers of single-use plastic waste, sports stadiums. This bill would allow patrons to bring their own reusable bottles to all sport venues across the city. If you think this is a good idea, consider testifying at the hearing for this bill in the Committee on Sanitation next Tuesday, October 24th at 1 p.m. You can sign up to testify on the council's website or reach out to our office. And I can provide the phone number. It's 212-928-6814, and we'll be sure to connect you to our legislative team. I am pleased to share that Councilmember Abreu facilitated a meeting between Heritage Health and the mayor's administration. We are waiting for the next steps from the administration, and I will provide you with more updates on development as we receive them. Lastly, I wanted to share that our communications director, Milo, joined Amir today in a meeting with Columbia University to get them to host an LGBTQ+ themed film series at one of their many performance venues. It is important to Sean that Columbia upholds the 2009 Community Benefits Agreement to provide in-kind services and programming to the neighborhood, such as this movie screening. We're looking forward to making this film festival happen in the coming month. And then I just also wanted to add that we've also been working with HPD. They are going to be in our office, our district office, October 31st. And there's also a mobile van at the Ascension Church who should be there from 10 to 5, October 31st. Thank you, everyone. And if you have any questions, feel free.
Thank you. Being no questions, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll move on to our action items. First action item is support the right of counsel. All state residents facing or losing their homes in legal proceedings. That presentation was given earlier. And question? So there's a motion for unanimous consent. And a second already. Question?
And the resolution that entity that was sent by email was for a different community.
Okay, so the comment was, it's not in the packet. And the resolution that was written was for another community board. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Correct.
What do
But it wasn't.
what he said was a template, so I guess we have to write it.
Well, I'm asking them for some friendly amendments to whatever. Small property owners, that small property owners is also included in right at the council. And that's where. Less than
So you are asking for friendly amendments to what was already written, because we would use a template that was there as well. But you want to make friendly amendments to it.
Right.
Can I actually make a motion to refer this to the housing committee? Because it didn't actually go through committee. And so we would then have the ability to draft.
Yeah.
Then you could add.
And they did not show up to present at exec, which is where it was on the agenda, so it might help to actually do, and Albany doesn't take session till January. So there's no time sensitivity on this, I don't think.
Okay.
Because it hasn't been passed and sent to the governor yet, right? Yeah, I mean, I moved to refer to the Housing, Zoning and Land Use Committee.
Yeah, I mean, when it came up at exec, I was surprised that he had not heard it.
Right. Which is unusual, but sometimes if there's a time sensitive thing. So, would anyone like to second my motion?
Okay. So move.
Great.
Item 2. Requesting Columbia University provide 5,000 square feet in West Harlem for artists and art organizations as per the CBA. Tina Lumley, you're gonna present that resolution. Miss Tina, come up front, please, so they can hear you on. There you go.
Good evening. This reso is for the community, the community board to pass a reso for the West Harlem Arts Alliance to obtain the 500 square feet that was supposed to be provided based on the community benefits agreement. And basically, we want to ensure that the space is provided and we identify what the space should be used for. I can go into more detail, but it's all in the reso. Are there any questions? Are there any questions?
Unanimous consent.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, hello,
Someone saying Barry has her hand
may I
up.
be recognized?
Hold on 1 second. Go
In
ahead.
the paragraph that says, whereas on May 18, 2009,
Yeah.
Columbia University Lee Bollinger and the president of, there was no West Harlem Development Corporation at that time.
Okay.
So I'm asked that part of the sentence be removed and it ends with President Lee Bollinger signed the West Harlem thing.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's see that.
Daria?
Also for the, I need a friendly amendment. The second whereas is incorrect. Our resolution did not request the West Harlem Development Corp to fund and constitute this organization. Nor did it call for it to be named the West Harlem Arts Alliance. I've been trying to copy and paste this into the chat so everyone could see it, but I did forward this to both you, Barry, and Victor. Those two things are incorrect. He requested, I can read what it actually says if that'll be helpful to do this quick change. It just says we call for we believe that the creation of a dedicated nonprofit for CD9's art service organizations will foster collaboration, blah, blah, blah. So we call on the community, institutions, stakeholders, funders, our elected officials and supporters to join us and work together towards the creation of and commitment to a nonprofit service organization to serve the arts community of CD9. We never called upon WHDC, nor did we call for a name. So if we could just either strike that or, phrase it in a different way.
So
Well,
strike.
Daria, did we
Yes.
not though, in our initiating, because it needs to be very clear to everyone that the creation of a West Harlem Arts Alliance came from CB9. And
Absolutely.
so I wonder though, if, because when we first started, when I first met with you and Harriet, we did say that this would be the West Harlem Arts Alliance.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. But we didn't call for we didn't name it.
Right.
And this reso says that we asked for it to be named that, and we did not.
no,
So
we
maybe-
did not. Okay.
Can we highlight to be named West Harlem Arts Alliance why, and then just strike that out? If we strike out that part, that's part of the friendly amendment?
Yes, that we strike that we call for it to be named West Harlem Arts Alliance.
Right.
And we also called for the community and the electeds to support this, but we did not specifically name West Harlem Development Corp. We didn't ask them to fund it
Right.
and do it. We were working with them on the reso. And so they were all the time an integral part of this, because Ziad and I actually wrote this reso, but we did not in the reso call on WHDC specifically.
Well, Daria, again, actually, the way that the WHDC even got involved was because Ziad had just become, the interim, the director there. And I asked him questions about the Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance. And then it appears that he got excited and started to attend your committee meetings.
Correct, and we worked on it
right.
with him.
Exactly, but he was
the
not
rest-
the initiating, nor was West Harlem Development Corp. The originators of this vision. It came from CB9, and he was never, and there was never any thought of the WHDC being even intricately involved until you all were able to more or less formulate what it would look like.
Correct, so we need to either rework the second whereas or strike it.
But in the interest of time, we have to move along because we have to be out here by 9.
The changes have been made on the screen, if you look at what Madison made.
Yes,
Okay.
okay, yes.
We
Mhm.
have to move forward. We have to be out here at 9. It's 5:02.
I have a motion on here. I move that this be sent back to the committee and reword it, because we're having too many changes
You have
here.
one change. It's been-
It's one
we had
change,
early
it's very
paragraph that was
simple,
finally
it's a very simple change.
We didn't have,
Yes,
we
we did
had,
have an earlier paragraph. Someone else was talking. No, it was 2 sentences,
Okay.
like 3 sentences and 2 sentences were speaking out.
okay, let's look at what's been changed. In the highlighted area, we replaced WHDC with community and elected officials. And then we struck to be named West Harlem Arts Alliance. The community benefits agreement, which I have on my phone, was in fact signed by Julio Batista, who was at the time president of the WHLDC. So that stays as it is. Those are the only 2 changes. It's part of one whereas clause.
No, there was somebody speaking before about another paragraph, Barry.
The date, 2000.
Wait a minute.
No.
What? Nobody struck a paragraph.
It was almost. Yeah, whereas on
Area
May
and area.
eighteenth, Columbia President Lee Bollinger, didn't you say that, that was the paragraph?
Well, that's the one
It
was.
does not need to be restricted.
WCC did exist.
It did.
Barry has it on his phone.
Yeah,
What's
Julio
all,
Batista signed it.
that's when it was signed.
You guys sitting here together?
Can I just say we're splitting hairs?
Yes.
It needs to be done. The agreement was signed in 2009.
yeah, May 18th,
It's
2000.
right here. We have the document here. It's signed. It was, yes, yes. It's right there. It's signed. I'm gonna say it again. It was signed on that date.
And I'm sorry.
We are gonna move on. Correct. Thank you.
Let's go ahead and get these trillion
I
dollars.
can't take any more questions. I gotta move on. It was a motion for unanimous consent earlier.
Yes.
We made the amendments.
Okay.
Friendly
what about the
amendment.
other Paragraph, was that changed?
Just said, no, it was not.
No,
It just showed you the changes.
Miss
Okay,
Barry,
so who was it? Julio
Um,
Batista?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, can we, Barry, Madison, can it be community funders and elected officials, which is what
We're
is.
gonna move forward. I ain't gonna say it again.
Wrong with the rest of, yes, but when it's name
Thank you.
change,
There was unanimous consent
I second.
suggested.
Third.
Any oppositions to that?
no.
Hearing none, we're moving forward. You can't make a comment. We have to move forward. We're time limited to be in this building. Okay?
We got 2 minutes.
Right. Moving forward. It's approved, yes. No opposition, so it's approved.
Just
Next
put
is
a comma
liquor
after
license.
community.
Uniform Transportation Services, please.
The first liquor license on the vote sheet is 1020.
Right?
1020 Amsterdam Avenue. There was no opposition from the precinct, with no issue.
Okay.
Carolyn, I will just note that our reso says that we go on record objecting to the
I
application.
spoke to Madison about it. Not that
Change it.
it's the bill.
La Maravilla.
Yeah, we're supposed to
Okay,
change
so we go on having no objection,
Exactly.
having no
How did it get in?
objection. Okay, to 1020, great.
I move the unanimous consent.
Hold on, we got a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, let's group them first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
The only one that says
Can I move on?
no, okay, so there's another friendly amendment, because this is a week-old version. The other friendly amendment that I move is that under Via La Maravilla for 3428 Broadway, that we go on record as objecting,
That's the one.
Yeah. objecting to the renewal, and that is because this is the billiards lounge under a new name.
This is the one with the name of the speaker.
100 times, yeah. Objecting, and it's not a renewal, right?
Yes, it's a new application.
So we're changing renewal under Via Maravilla to new application. And we're changing we object to the issuance of a new liquor license. Everything else good?
Yeah.
And then you just strike the extraneous lines under core and Via La Maravilla. All right, sorry. Apparently.
Go ahead.
You did 1020.
The blue zone has no objection, with no issue, after I checked with the plan.
Okay.
Who is Urbana? You had asked me about that, Barry.
Right.
DBA is Urbana.
Hmm.
Okay, sure. God bless it. If we have no objections with that.
Okay.
The Polish Mexican Grill, which is located by 2021 Road, is on Jenkins. No problems at all.
So the next renewals, are there any problem with any of the renewals?
No, no.
Um,
All of the renewals have been approved and accepted by the Trio. All the renewals for the 26 precinct have been accepted.
Carolyn, forgive me. I got two other friendly amendments under Villa Maravilla.
Yeah.
We're gonna strike whereas the 26th precinct has no objection, and we're gonna make that whereas the 30th precinct has objected.
Yeah, but I made that correct.
I know, but so everybody knows what they're voting on. The 30th precinct objected to us, we are objecting to it.
Right.
And maybe we can say, given the extensive history of illegal operations and activities. Is that a friendly amendment?
Yes.
Okay, great.
No problem. A word in hand, and no problem. And in the rear one, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Unanimous consent was suggested on the renewal.
We're objecting.
You abstaining, correct, okay. All right, any old business? Any new business?
Wait, if you are a committee co-chair, please make sure you turn in your district needs narrative to Deirdre by October 24th. And if you have any corrections or new budget items for the priorities.
Can you sign your voting sheet?
And turn them in.
I have.
Bring them up here, please.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned 9:05. Thank you all.